my name is Dolores Daniels and I work for the Kansas City, Kansas Community College Campus Child Care Center. I'm also on the board of directors of Casey's, and I'm here to talk about red wigglers. The red wiggler worm, and I wanted to show for early childhood educators and preschooler and school-age teachers that when you want to bring the outside indoors, this can be one of your favorite activities. It's very inexpensive. Things that you can get children, and actually you would not believe that children are not very afraid of worms. They're not cold and slimy like some people may think. They're very conscientious, and they're not bad to handle. And I will try to gently get one for you here, but they're moving because they know I'm coming. But until I get those, this also too, I wanted to talk about the Wiggly Worm at Works. It's a great literacy book. It's beautiful, illustrated. It talks about the red worm. It talks about worms, underground, why we need worms, how does worms help the environment, and how everyone do their part. And it's very strongly illustrated, so kids of all ages will be able to enjoy this book. And then also too, I wanted to show some replicas of the different life cycle of worms. Once again, all of these items are really very inexpensive for schools or daycare centers who may be on a tight budget. They're very inexpensive. And to show, and also a tie-in, Scholastic's book of the Diary of a Worm. It's a very cute story, and it shows how worms are writing. So it even imitates the writing of keeping a journal of your day. So, and then my other book for the older classes, I would say pre-K on up to maybe 12 years of age. It talks about it breaks down more of the body parts of the worm. It talks more about different types of lab experiments you can do with worms, like measurements and how much, we call it surface layer of, and when you have worms in a bin, you can actually measure the layer of where you started, and then after maybe about a month, how much surface layer does the worms add to your beginning layer. So there's measurements and things like that as far as, and then I know you won't be able to see too much, but we also did something where we can even show worm eggs, and this has a magnifying top where you can actually see inside, and so the children get to see what worm eggs actually look like, because 9 times out of 10 when we see worms it's after the rain and they're already wiggling around, so we can't really get the beginning of where worms come from, but this helps them out in showing the beginning. So I hope I answered maybe some puzzling questions about worms, and hopefully I can introduce worms to anyone's classroom. You can always call me, and me and my worms will come travel with me and show you that, worms are fun. They don't bite. They won't poop in your hand, So they're just there, and they serve a wonderful purpose as far as growing food and giving us some good, healthy, nutrient soil. And also, too, one thing about a worm bin, I would say always use fruits and vegetables, because if you use apples, if you use fruit, when you take the lid off of your worm bin, believe it or not, it will smell the aroma of fruit. Only time that when I say you sort of mess up is when you put meat in there, because meat is biodegradable, it starts breaking down and you'll get that pungent odor. But when you put fruits in there, your favorite fruit, it's almost like even a room freshener, a natural room freshener for if you have a worm bin. I am from New York, Brooklyn actually, and from being from New York, and everything is strategically planned. So a tree in front of a building has been strategically planned. Moving to Kansas and having children of my own, and wanted to know why on earth they always wanted to go outdoors. Why do you want to go out there? So actually one day I went outside, and I went by myself. I have this thing where I do with my 5-year-old, Heaven Lynn, where we lay on the grass and we look up and we watch clouds. It started from there. And and just imagining what clouds were. That one looks like a horse. That one looks like a bear. And there was no wrong answer. I mean, there was not a right answer to it. It was what if it looks that way, that's what it was. And just watching the appreciation, and then by being a school-age teacher for 14 years, I think the openness is what really, I just think that the openness and able to feel the natural air, hear the different sounds at night, see birds in the air, the sky, just calmed them down. I mean, it was so amazing to me. Do not have a degree in the environmental ed. My degrees are in early childhood and in human resource management. So I was like, wow. And then just to observe them and how they was able to respond to the outdoors. So then I started taking my classroom outside. Everything I did inside, I did outside. So we painted, we ate, we had music, we did arts and crafts, physical ed. Everything was outside. It was the best nights that I ever had. And so in the snow, when it snows, everyone says, oh, when it snows, you're not going to be able to go outside. Yes, we do. We still go. We go making tracks in the snow. So then that way, we track animals. See what animals came to our playground to visit us. So we're on investigations all the time to see what's going on outside. It gets the kids' mind ready to learn and more on a listening. Because to me, the outdoors present an opportunity for their minds to be open. It's not so much where I have to tell them in a book, but when they get to go outside, the whole world is their book. So they get to write any page in their book that they want. And they did it by what? Going outside, picking up a worm, looking at worm eggs, hatching butterflies. We even hatch chicken eggs to watch chickens. I don't even have a hatchery. So we even hatch chickens. So it was just to watch the process. It's so much more than just saying that's a chicken, that's a chick, that's a worm. But if we can take it through the stages of the necessary process with them, that is so more valuable than anything. And you can tie in math, history, science, cooking. Everything they learned every day in school can be tied in going outside.